Hello, attractive listeners. Welcome to the Geek Press Podcast. I'm Noah Garcia, and today co host Luis Gutierrez and I are going to be talking about the current drama with Dungeons and Dragons, the video game The Last of Us, right before the series premiere on HBO, the Golden Globes, and the end of the DC TV universe, the Arrowverse. If you enjoyed listening to us babble on and on, please don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, and follow us across all social media platforms and help us climb to the #1 spot on the charts. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy. See ya.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Luis Gutierrez, and welcome to episode 37 of the Geek Press Podcast. I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield, how are you doing today?
Actually, lovely. I've just been flying in from LA to Kentucky to England, and I'm just having a great time. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on your podcast with you.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I saw a TikTok that's blowing up again where you were talking to this lady who interviews people, and you guys were getting super friendly, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, they're such an it couple." But I was like, you know what? They just have good chemistry. That's all it is.
The thing about me is that it's an open Hollywood secret that I'm just a humongous slut. Did you not see those photos I did in the desert with my shirt off and the leather pants? Like that was me advertising that I'm a slut.
Oh, I can't say I have seen them now.
Oh well, I'll have to DM them to you. Hello, guys. I'm Noah Garcia. I'm constantly made to improv celebrity voices I don't know, and we just talk about nonsense here on this podcast. Lewis, how are you? What have you been doing in this new year? It's I think our first official episode in the new year.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
we started a bit late because
Mhm,
we had stuff to do last week,
mhm.
but here we are going strong. This is our first podcast of the new year.
Yeah. Ignore the fact that we started off by not doing it, but we'll just ignore that and say this is our official first. Don't worry about it. What have you been reading? What have you been watching? What's going on with you?
Okay, so I finished Breaking Bad with my girlfriend, and by the end of Breaking Bad, she was able to kind of come around and say like, "Oh, it wasn't the best show, but it was an enjoyable show at the end." So I was like, "I'll take my wins where I can." And right afterwards, we watched El Camino.
Mhm.
And for those who are unaware, El Camino is a Breaking Bad movie that takes place immediately after Breaking Bad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so and it came out like a few years after Breaking Bad is already finished. So I remember when it came out, my girlfriend and I were like, we were already dating, you know, and
Mhm.
Breaking Bad had finished when I was like a senior in high school. So she had texted me. I'm never gonna forget this. She had texted me because I had knew the movie was coming out. She was like, "Hey, that movie dropped today. You gonna watch it? Like, I know you're a big Breaking Bad fan." I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I'm gonna watch it." And I watched it, and I didn't remember who most of those characters in the movie were, because it's directly referencing the show, and like I didn't remember like who half of them were, so I just stopped watching it. I fell asleep and never went back to that movie. So now that we watched the show and went right back to it, I think it hits pretty hard just because it's like it was like fresh in my memory, you know. Um,
Mhm.
I thought the movie was really good, but in my opinion, it was a little bit longer than it needed to be. But it was a good like conclusion for Jesse and his story, and I was like really happy about. I was really happy with his ending in Breaking Bad. But yeah, that's what I did, and then also too, I've been watching. I'm caught up with the dub on My Hero Academia,
Wow.
as well as the dub for Chainsaw Man. And
Mhm.
as you all know, as you all may or may not know, I'm a manga reader of Chainsaw Man.
Mhm.
And then my girlfriend's asking me, "What's happening with this? Who is Miss Machina?" Like Miss Machina is one of the main characters in the show. He was like, she's like, who's the devil that she's contracted with? Because she's doing some crazy shit right now. She's like, just tell me who she's contracted with, or I'm gonna look it up right now. And I straight up told her because we had this conversation last night. I was like, if you look that up, it's gonna ruin the entire show.
Yeah, you want to keep that a secret. There's
Uh-huh.
going to be a big old reveal.
And she was like, no, I don't care. Just tell me. I'm like, no. And she was like about to look it up, and I told her, I was like, again, if you look that up, it's gonna ruin the entire show. Like that's a big thing. You like
Mhm.
you'll find out as the show progresses. And then she was like, fine, I'm not gonna like. And she was, I could tell she was a little angry that I didn't give in to her demands. But I'm just like, no, trust me, like that's a big part of the fucking of the story. Like, just leave it be for now. But we finished that, and then I've been writing a lot of like news stories right now, and IGN contacted me. They were like, because they usually do this for like the freelancers they have on board. They're like, hey, here's all the games coming out. What games do you guys want to work on? Well, we'll try to get you the games you want. So I was like, hey, I want this in this game. I haven't heard back from them yet, but they told me they're like, all right, we got your email, Luis. We're putting our teams together, and like a bunch of like other work too that's in development for me. Like, so with IGN, it's gonna potentially happen. I don't know yet. Fingers crossed. Um, I'm just shotgunning through this really quick so you can get yours as fast as you can. I've been reading. I've been trying to read that book I told you about, of
Mhm.
Reggie Fils-Aimé. I'm like on like the fifth or sixth chapter of the book now. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it, and I've been learning a little bit of Spanish. I can't really have like a full on conversation. I know
Mhm.
like phrases now, but it's a lot more than I knew at the beginning of the year. So Duolingo is actually helping me out a lot. And next week is my birthday, and on Wednesday, um Atlas, those are the people who make the Persona games, like Persona 1, 2,
Mhm.
3. They're
You
have
never see them coming.
um with Persona, they're having a re-release for like for it to be on Xbox and Switch. So I think it's for Persona 3 on Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday. So they're gonna have an event in downtown LA and an event in London. And it's gonna be like they're gonna have music, they're gonna have drinks and like food all themed around Persona. And it was like a RSV. You didn't have to RSVP, but they're like, we recommend you RSVP. So I'm gonna be going to that on Wednesday, and then Friday is gonna be my birthday, so that's gonna be fun. I talked a
It's
lot.
exciting.
I talked a lot. I'll let you take the reins.
No, it's okay. I love you talking a lot because I just love listening because sometimes I don't know what to say. But I love that for you. I'm so excited. Shout out, happy 21st birthday, everyone at Lewis on all his social medias. Happy 21st. What I have been doing is that I have been trying to read up on more Superman stories because because everyone's talking about Superman and everything. Everyone's like fan casting online. So I would say I've been like looking up different things. I would say to everyone, if you want to see what a young Superman and what those stories could look like, I would recommend that everyone get Superman American Alien by Max Landis. You can buy it for very cheap on Amazon. The paperback, which is like 7 issues in one collected edition, is like $8. So you can go right now and get it. And basically, it's about the events that happened in Clark Kent's life that led him up to being Superman and his early days of Superman. And it's really interesting because I won't go into many details about the story, but it adds a lot of interesting lore, like some of his childhood friends knowing he's Superman and just being like, "Oh yeah, that's still Clark though."
Oh, that's cool.
Things like him being partially inspired by like Batman's design, things like his relationship with Lois Lane and like how how he crosses a bridge from being like his mental understanding of being like a farm boy into someone who could be like a god of this world. But at the end of the day, he's not going to do that because he is just a farm boy from Kansas. So it's very interesting seeing him deal with people and different villains. Like there's a thing where like he confronts Lex Luthor for like the first time, and Lex is just like, "Oh my god, this whole time I've seen you flying around like some fucking menace, but you're just a fucking idiot." And I just thought that was really funny. Because Clark is like thrown off, like, because you expect some big villain speech, but Lex Luthor is just like, "You're a fucking idiot. Get out of my office." And
That's
it's
a
just
very
really
Lex
funny.
thing.
It is. So it's just so interesting seeing these stories play out. So once again, if you're interested in Superman stories, 100% recommend Max Landis, Superman American Alien. So I've been catching up on that. and I like to plug music that I listen to on here sometimes. I would say that the Moon song by Gregory Alan Iskov is just like such a chill song I've been listening to whenever I want to chill. That's a pretty good song. And are you laughing at my taste, my
No,
musical
no, no.
taste?
I had like a cough. My bad, my bad.
You know
But
what?
yeah, I also
I also have a cough in my throat, but the thing is, I'm waiting for you to talk so I can cough, and I was going to mute my mic because that's being polite.
I was
That's what it's
holding
called,
it.
being
I was
polite on a
watching a
podcast.
video of a gorilla.
But a gorilla. Okay, let me tell you guys something real quick. People in our group chat, in our D&D group chat, people will just say stuff, and I'll just throw it in. Like Lewis is just like, "Can we have a gorilla in our D&D campaign?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, I'll throw it in." Like, what was it? I did a dumbass goofy voice, and our good friend Rudy was like, can that be like the first guy we see?" And I just like the first guy they see in the session is a guy with goofy voice. So I'll just throw things in. There's also zombies. There's lots of things coming, and it's just because it's not that serious. Like, why not? And the thing about D&D, this is called a transition for you folks that don't know. The thing about D&D is that there's some drama going on right now.
Hold on, hold on.
I, mhm. Okay,
Let me play the music. You ready?
okay.
All right. Say that again. Say that again.
There's some drama going on with D&D. Oh my god, I'm sorry for our headphone users.
I'm not.
Okay, so I'm a bit more informed on this, but Lewis, what's some of the like surface knowledge you might know about what's going
Oh,
on?
excuse me. It's not like I work in the fucking press, all right?
I know, but I've like I'm
I'm
sorry. Oh my god.
I'm a
Okay, you know
DM.
what?
I have more
You know
knowledge
what?
than you on this.
You know what? No, go ahead, Lewis. Explain the whole situation. I'm sorry. You're right. I shouldn't belittle you. What is the situation? Go on.
So the whole situation is that the Wizards of West Coast, right? That's the parent company, right? Noah?
It's up to you. I don't know.
I believe it's
Yeah.
called the Wizards of West Coast. Something akin to that. Is
It's
it
Wizards of the Coast.
Wizards of the Coast? Oh, okay, I was close. I was very close.
You're well, yeah. You're just like one word off. You're fine.
The Wizards of the Coast are the parent company of Magic the Gathering, as well as Dungeons and Dragons, and I think amongst other like IPs.
Mhm.
But what they're doing is that it's largely people are pointing fingers at like Critical Role and like other like NADPOD and stuff like that because what NADPOD like those shout out not another D&D podcast and shout out Critical Role, but they make their whole thing is they make original Dungeons and Dragons stories based off the tabletop RPG game, but they make money, they make merchandise, you know, for like Critical Role, like they have Vox Machina, they have their own TV show. And then they have books you could buy, toys you can buy, all based around these D&D stories. So what Wizards of the Coast is doing is they're like, "Hey, you guys are making a large amount of money on our off our property. Like this is our stuff. We're gonna start charging you guys now." And so the thing was too, like Wizards of West. Why do I keep saying West Coast? Of the coast, were like, okay, if you make like I forget the exact threshold, but it was like if you make like 200,000, we're gonna take like a 10%, 20% pay. Oh, they're gonna take a pay cut of what you made. And when and so a lot of people were pushing back and they're like, no, this is bullshit. And then on top of that too, they were also saying like we can also just kind of steal your work. Like if like for the sake of conversation, let's say we're streaming on twitch.tv
Mhm.
forward slash I'm Joshua Joestar, and they're like, hey, that Noah guy had a really cool campaign idea that we didn't think of. This is ours now. We're just gonna take it. We're not gonna give him any kind of credit whatsoever. No money, no nothing. And that was another thing people were pushing back against. They're like,
Mhm.
because I don't know how like being a DM is, but I know it's a lot of work. So people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is bullshit." Like I spent like months, years, even making this character
Mhm.
or this plot line, and you just come and swoop it up from my feet. So that's the drama. But supposedly they like backtracked now. I saw something, but yeah, that's everything I know.
That's pretty much it. In fact, I don't have to say anything else. We can move on to the next topic. I gotta.
Flush it all out. Flush it all out.
Okay, so under an agreement established in 2000, Wizard of the Coast, their parent company is Hasbro, so they're under Hasbro. They basically had an open game license, which means that anybody outside of Wizards of the Coast that makes printed game content, let's plays, books, toys, podcasts, anything like that, that's not going to be like sued against for using their license or anything. Anything that's modified D&D homebrew stuff was open, and it was meant to like allow the D&D community to grow and expand. And basically there have been leaks of the upcoming OGL 1.1 agreement. It's called 1D&D. It was announced last year. And the leaked content of this means that, according to this, it only allows for the creation of role-playing games and supplements in printed media and static electronic file formats. It doesn't allow for anything else. So it's restricting the content that can be pushed out. And not only that, it's hard because fan content like art, videos, podcasts, blogs, websites, streaming will be affected. It's unclear how stuff like Critical Role, Dimension 20, Adventure Show, things like that, it's not sure. But the thing is, what's interesting is that a lot of these, whatever you put out there could technically be taken up by Wizard of the Coast because it would be under their license. So before it was a free license, now it's sort of like whatever content you produce, we should have access to. Not only that, is that this comes off as a money grab to a lot of people because there are different tiers, such as like if your project, like say there are lots of Kickstarters these days. Like I remember there was an internet creator, Jackdaw, he did Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting, and like the Kickstarter immediately like met its goal, and then they did more tiers and tiers and tiers and stuff like that. So for instance, let's say your project uh reaches $750,000. Not talking about not talking about profit, just talking about like what your expected goal is. Like you still have to pay people, you still have to do all this. Let's say you meet that amount of money, you have to pay 25% in royalties to Dungeons and Dragons Wizards of the Coast. And this includes people that have Kickstarters that they have to pay royalties. Other crowdfunding sites need to pay royalties. And it's crazy because it depends on if you do lower amounts of money, you do have to pay less, but at the end of the day, you still have to pay for it. And people are like really upset about that because they feel like it's very much threatening their creativity, it's threatening the community, because the whole thing is that Wizards of the Coast laid out this base game of D&D and everyone builds on top of it. And now all of a sudden it's like Wizards of the Coast is saying, oh, sorry, you can't build. Everyone come back down. We're going to hold on to you. And it's very interesting because right now there have been more leaks because a big thing that a lot of people use that I think our friend Kevin uses, it's it's the
The D&D Beyond.
yeah, D&D Beyond. I was trying to remember the name. D&D Beyond. So a lot of people are boycotting D&D Beyond. They're canceling sales because of another somewhat verified. Again, all of this is leaked. So there's no official thing yet. They put out a weird apology, but we won't get into that. It wasn't really an apology. It was just like, oh, we're sorry you guys are taking it this way. It was that sort of apology. But basically, a lot of people are canceling D&D Beyond because apparently, due to another leak with somebody who works on the team that really cares about the community, they said that's the biggest number they're looking for because a lot of D&D players use D&D Beyond because it's a really efficient source to like keeping track of all your notes and your character sheets and looking up stuff. So a lot of people are canceling their subscription just to kind of show D&D that they're being serious about this. So it's a really interesting thing because it's another company that looks at its fan base who, of course, every fan base has their issue, but it's a fan base that is filled with creative people writing music, creating shows, podcasts, pieces of artwork. And instead of really encouraging that, they're following the dollar. They're just like, how can we profitize this? How can we monetize this? And you can blame people at Wizards of the Coast, you can blame the parent company Hasbro, but it's just really sad to see a beloved game like this kind of just become really money hungry. And I mean, like, I don't understand why they're money hungry. Y'all know the player's handbook is $40 and the Dungeons and Dragons handbook is like the DM guide is like $60. So I don't. Everyone needs to buy them books.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
the
know.
dice
I don't
is
know.
like $10 too.
Honestly, but what I'm wondering is that like you can no longer put like D&D dice. You have to put tabletop dice because if you put D&D dice, and they're just like, hey, give us some of that money that you stole from your dice.
Yeah, I do wonder too because I did see that like they're not gonna steal money or anymore. Like not steal money, but like
Mhm,
they're not gonna take money from content creators and all that. So I'm
mhm.
curious to see how like everything unravels on.
And I noticed things like we mentioned Critical Role. I don't know what their relationship with D&D is. I'm sure they have a partnership. But I thought it was funny that somebody was posting, they're just like, we know Matt Mercer can't say shit, but he sure can like shit on his Twitter. And he was like liking tweets that shaded the company. And I was just like, oh, you. like you can't put out an official statement because he's so legally tied to them, I guess, but he can like things on Twitter.
That's
So
funny.
good for him. Uh Other third parties like Paizo, who produces Pathfinder, are talking about making their own license agreement that's like, hey, we're cool. Why don't you come play Pathfinder? We'll let you do whatever you want. So there are different little other companies that are starting to pop up that might also threaten Wizards of the Coast. But this is a developing story. We'll see. But that's kind of the drama going on right now. So it's a wait and see.
Yeah, all these nerds are just mad. Go get some
Yeah.
go get some puss and talk to girls
Oh my
or go get
god.
some ass and talk to men or go talk to the they thems.
Get what?
I don't know. The shadow realm.
Go get your kisses. Go get your
Yeah.
kisses on. But that's it, Lewis. They get their kisses on through D&D, all the role play.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, so if they can't play D&D, they can't get their kisses on.
And you don't want those they and thems being sexually frustrated. Nobody does.
That's true. Nobody should be sexually frustrated, no matter your gender, sex, or nationality. I'm Noah Garcia, and I believe nobody should be sexually frustrated. That's
Dun,
the
dun,
hill I'm
dun,
gonna
dun,
die on.
dun, 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 dun.
Oh my gosh. So that's the drama. I'll be sure to update the story as it goes on. But a lot of creators are really hating this. But we'll just see because they might backtrack and say, sorry, my bad guys, never mind. So we'll find out.
Damn, that is a lot.
Mhm. And if anyone's ever interested in D&D, there are tons of streams up on I'm Joshua Joestar's Twitch channel. You can check out our D&D game. We sometimes play Thursdays. We're on a short hiatus due to one of our friends just being rich and living his life.
Yeah, it must be nice.
So it must be nice. I love that for him. I have $190 in my bank account, but I love that
I
for
don't know
him.
how much I got in my bank account.
Yeah, sure. I just gave you
Uh,
my like actual number.
I tell you, I'll give you my actual number.
Okay.
Here's the thing, too.
I'm
No
gonna
one,
okay.
I've said this before. I don't know if I've ever said it like on the podcast.
Mhm,
But freelancing kind of fucking sucks sometimes because you
mhm,
only get paid whenever they feel like paying you.
mhm.
At the moment, in my Chase bank account, I have a whopping negative $5.16. And I've learned because I've overdrafted a lot. If you have
Oh my god.
if you have below negative 50, you can have negative 50, but as soon as you have negative 50.1, they start charging you overdraft fees. So I am just
You get
chilling.
overdraft fees?
Yes, you get overdraft. Here, let me tell you a quick story.
I'm at Southern Credit Union, and so I don't have overdraft fees.
So I remember when I was in high school.
Okay.
No, I was fresh out of high school. Fresh out of high school,
Mhm.
and I was working.
Fresh off the hood.
I was working this overnight job at Target.
Mhm.
I had and somebody, I don't know. That's another story. That's another story. Um, what had happened was I had spent all of my money. You know, I
Mhm.
just got this job. I was making a decent little change for myself, and I was just going crazy spending money all the time. And what had happened was I overdrafted, and then overdraft fees kept kicking in. It's like they kick in like daily or something like that. I forget. And my overdraft fee was just building and building and building and building. And it got to, within like the couple weeks, it got to the point where like even my paycheck wouldn't pay it back at that point, you know? And so I was like, "Oh no,
Oh
this
my
is." I was like,
god.
"This isn't good." So
That's bad.
so I went to the bank and I was like, "Hey, can I talk to like a bank teller?" And they're like, "All right." And I explained to her, I was like, "Hey."
They're like, oh, you.
I was like, "Hey guys, it's your boy," and and I explained to them my situation, and then thankfully, the lady was really kind and understanding. You
Mhm.
know, she was like, "Listen, what I'm about to do is something we hardly ever do, and I don't think this is ever gonna happen to you again. So just like learn your lesson from this." And she wiped out my debt. And my
What the hell? No way.
mhm.
Shout out to Chase Banking.
Yeah, she wiped out my debt, and she was like, "We hardly ever do this, but you're a young kid. You're still learning. Just don't do this again because we won't be able to do this a second time for you." And I was like, and I was like, just in disbelief that this actually happened.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
Honestly, shout out to that Chase Bank employee.
yeah. I'm
You're
never
forever in Lewis's heart.
honestly. Yeah, I don't remember how this lady looks or even sounds like, but I just remember talking to her, and I remember having that conversation.
That's sweet. I love that for you.
Thank you, thank you. But other things that I love is that I just beat The Last of Us Part 1.
Oh my gosh, we got to talk about it.
Yeah, so the PS5 version comes with the DLC left called Left Behind. So I haven't played that one yet, but Left Behind, from what I'm putting together, it's like it takes this is a little bit of a spoiler for those who haven't played it or plan on watching the show.
Okay, I need everyone listening right now. If you don't want spoilers, jump ahead 5 minutes. It's not our fault if you're hit with spoilers.
So it's the part. Oh shit, my girlfriend's. I think she's all right.
Yeah,
Uh,
you good?
yeah,
You
I
good?
think she's
Okay.
asleep. Right.
Okay.
It's the part where Joel is like on the edge of dying and Ellie's like trying to like bring him back.
Mhm,
So the Left Behind is playing. You're playing as Ellie, taking care of him, but it's also flashbacks of before her linking up with Joel and the Fireflies.
mhm,
But I'm playing that right now, so I literally just started it, and I got maybe like a
mhm,
minute into it, so I virtually didn't start it. But anyways, I my goal was to beat the main game before the show comes out, which is the show drops
mhm.
tomorrow, Sunday.
So excited.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to play. We not to play the game, to watch the show now. And I was just like, as I was playing it, I was like, wow, like, this is my hot take on it. The combat in The Last of Us is shit. It is horrible.
Oh my gosh, no way.
I fucking hate that combat. I thought it was really bad, and the combat's not. It only becomes good once you finally like upgrade your stats to where like your weapon doesn't sway.
Mhm,
Because I hated like aiming my gun, and it was just going all over the place. I'm like, fuck. Like I get it, I get what they're going for, but
mhm,
I'm not going for a sense of realism in a game where like, you know, infected people have like fungus growing out of their brain and shit like that. Like there has to be. I get what they were doing, but it was just I thought the combat was so bad.
mhm. You can understand what they're trying to achieve and still not care for how it was like
Yeah.
achieved.
Because I'm like there has to be a sense of game in it still. Like you get what I'm like for like games like for instance like PUBG, Players Unknown Battleground, like through and through that's a realistic battle sim. So I understand that way. Like when you shoot the sniper, it goes poof and your gun goes up. If you shoot a machine gun for longer than 3 seconds, it's gonna start going all over the place. I get that because they're more based in reality. But The Last of Us, I'm just like fucking a. Give me a sec, I gotta sneeze.
No problem. I will say that I don't play a lot. This isn't like necessarily a shooter. I don't know if I call it that, but I don't play a lot of like gun games that involve shooting. So I this is really one of my first few experiences. Like aside from this and like Nathan Drake, that's all my gun shooting
Mm-hmm.
and maybe Tomb Raider. But so I didn't really have that issue, but I can understand how that could be annoying when you're used to like different gameplay systems that just seem to know how to use like gun weaponry, maybe like not more efficiently, but like there's a better handle on it, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
of the like of the character. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
Yeah, I thought that was kind of like shit. And
hmm
then story was good. The story was really well.
hmm
I really liked Ellie a lot. I like Joe a lot, and I liked all of the side characters they meet along the way.
Okay,
Um,
just in case for some reason somebody's listening to this and they don't know The Last of Us. The Last of Us is
oh
this
yeah, I didn't explain what it was.
adventure, and yeah, it's showing up tomorrow on HBO. I 100% recommend you watch it. Last of Us is like a post-apocalyptic video game where there's a bunch of like infected, mutated fungus monsters that can like bite people and infect them, and it's like basically a zombie outbreak but with plants. There's this guy Joel who's kind of like the protagonist, and he has to get this girl Ellie across like
Across
I think
America.
the yeah across America basically to like Seattle or something. I forget where, but just to get them across America, and it's like their adventures and the people they meet and like fighting surviving the monsters.
And it's like a
Uh,
dog eat dog
mhm,
world, so like all the
yeah,
humans are even trying to kill each other, even though there's like a zombie outbreak.
and you know you got Ellie being like, "Let's help him," and Joel's just like, "Shut up! I'm gonna shoot him in the head." And this is it's that dynamic where like it's another Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. It's another surrogate father and surrogate child type thing, and it's good.
Yeah, the story's really solid, and
hmm
I'm really excited. I'm really excited to watch the show now because I've been hearing good reviews about the show.
hmm
And but yeah, I was just bummed out about the combat,
hmm
but I'm excited to play the second one now. To After I beat the DLC, go through and play Last of Us Part Two, because I
hmm
did enjoy the missions where you play as Ellie. But oh, you good? What was that?
Oh,
Oh,
did you hear me?
yes, I heard all of that.
Oh,
You,
I tried muting. Sorry, I tried muting myself. I was clearing my throat. I'm
I heard,
so
I
sorry.
heard that. Like fuck.
But I was clearing my throat. I'm sorry. Continue talking. I thought I muted myself.
But I'm excited to go through the second one now.
Mhm.
Where Ellie is the main. It takes place like what, like a handful of years down the line.
Yeah,
Um,
this game is like teen Ellie, and the second one is like young
adult,
adult
yeah.
Ellie.
So I'm excited to see like her, like how this world has changed her since then.
I mean, I'm interested to see your take on the story
Uh huh.
because it was at the time the game came out, the story was so controversial. It was such a big thing in like pop culture video game debating it. So I'm interested to see what you think of it.
Yeah, like well, okay, again, it's big spoiler right here. Okay, so please skip ahead
Yeah.
and about another like 10 seconds. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, I know that starting now, skip 10 seconds ahead. Um, I know in the second one, it's Joel dies like in the very beginning,
Mhm.
and I know that it's kind of hinted that Ellie may or may not commit suicide at the end. Other than that, that's all I know about the game. I know the very beginning and I know the very end. I don't know the journey, and
Mhm.
so I'm excited to see what happens. And I know there's like in The Last of Us Part Two, you switch between Ellie and some other girl, right? Like
Mhm.
you go back and forth between the two.
Abby.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's like you get to see the viewpoint of the villain of the game, like quote unquote villain of the game, one of the bad guys.
And after watching um after playing the first one, I
Mhm.
remember seeing a lot of debate like, oh, they did Joel dirty in the second one. You know, I'm gonna be vague now because we're past the
Mhm.
10 seconds. They're like they did Joel dirty. And I remember listening to a podcast with Troy Baker. I bring up this podcast every now and then, called Play Watch Listen.
Mhm.
He was like, "Oh, he 110% deserved that." And after playing it, I'm like, "Oh man, he kind of did. He kind of did
Mhm.
deserve that." So,
'Cause the thing is, if the tables were turned, we would be cheering.
yeah, like I'm
Mhm.
gonna be vague for the ending, but like I 110% understand why Joel did what he did,
Mhm.
but it's like, fuck, like he you kind of deserve what happens. But yeah, okay, that's it. I don't want to keep talking about The Last
No,
of
it's
Us,
okay.
but
It's just it's such a it's so good. It's so
yeah,
good.
combat is shit. Story is great.
I would say that if you definitely watch the show, you can always go on if you want to see the game and you don't have a console. You can there's always those like people that edit the cutscenes together. So you can always watch that.
Yeah,
I would
there's
just say get into it. It's really it's worth it.
and okay, what else? Do you have anything you'd like to say or any?
Oh my gosh, the Golden Globes happened. I don't know if that was a Golden Globe. Thank you. I want to talk about two things. One, first of all, I need everyone to if you have not watched uh the speech of Kehu Kwan, who was in Everything Everywhere All at Once. If you did not watch his speech, please go watch it. Please go watch Michelle Yeoh's speech. They both won. He won Best Supporting and she won Best Actress. Their speeches are so good. I love them so much. Michelle's was more so about like she was kind of just she's always talked about like whether or not she's been taken seriously, whether or not she feel like she has ever had a presence in Hollywood, which is such an interesting thing to hear from her because this woman Michelle, she's been in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, she was in Avatar, Shang-Chi, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Kung Fu Panda, like a million things. She's been in so many things. And then parallel to her, uh Kehu Kwan has been in very little things, and his speech was very much about like
Well,
I
he worked behind the camera a lot after that.
yeah, his face was never really shown like but like his presence he in his speech he kind of talked about like oh I was always worried that what I achieved as a child in Indiana Jones would never be surpassed again, which is funny to me because I never saw that movie. What I know him from oh my god, I feel like a complete loser. What's that movie where they're The Goonies. I know him from The Goonies. I don't know him from Indiana Jones.
You know,
I know it.
funny you mentioned that. I've never
Uh-huh.
seen either the Goonies or that Indiana Jones that he's in.
I believe it's the Temple of Doom.
Yeah, so my first exposure to him
Mm.
was Everything Everywhere.
Everything all at
Such a
once.
long ass title.
Mhm.
Go on now.
But the thing is, like as you said, he's been like a stunt coordinator. He's been an assistant director. He's been very much behind the scenes. But it's just his acceptance speech was like so heartbreaking. And it's just I feel like if anybody needs inspiration, everyone should go watch it because he was just like so happy because it's just such a dream for him because I think we all have like high points in our life and then we get and during our low points I know a lot of us are like well we're never going to do any better than what we did before so like why am I trying, so I think that's just so interesting.
On a side note,
Mhm.
I don't want to bash Everything Everywhere. I think it was a good movie, but I just think it was a lot. I'm just gonna say this.
Yeah, no.
I think it was a lot longer than it needed to be, but it was still a good movie nonetheless. And
Mhm.
my favorite scene of him in that movie was near the end of it when they're like dimension hopping
Mhm.
and the mom is like this.
Spoilers.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah. Um where the mom is in this dimension she's like a Hollywood actress,
Oh, that's
and
so good.
at the very end they're smoking a cigarette in the back, and she was like, you know, she's talking to him, I forget his name. What was his name again?
I forget the character's name,
But the guy we
but
were just talking about.
no, the actor's name is Kei Hu Kwan.
Yeah, they're talking to Kay, and then she's like, yeah, like there's a future where like we're struggling, we own a laundromat and we're barely making ends meet, this and that. And he's like smoking a cigarette, and he was like, you know, as long as I'm with you, that's all I care about. I would happily struggle in life and own a laundromat with you if it meant that I get to spend the rest of my life with you or something like that. And I was just like, fuck, that was such a good delivery right there, the way he said that. But he was like, I would gladly give up this fortune and fame to be poor and struggling if it meant that I was with you, you know?
It's it's like one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Oh,
It's so good,
uh huh.
and it's kind of like this is another. You know what? I just mentioned his story of being like oh, like, am I never gonna be good enough past like my achievements? This story is kind of about learning the trap that is the idea of what is, and learning to love and accept the people in your life and who you are now.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an important lesson for many generations. And there's lots of stuff in that movie, but I'm happy it won. I'm so proud of those actors. It's my top 10 movies of 2022. It might be my top 10 movies. It doesn't beat Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Rings, but it's close. So
Uh,
there is one thing I want to mention, that there was a bit of drama.
yeah,
Uh
before you get into that,
yeah, of
I've
course.
been seeing him a lot on TikTok, like
Hmm.
fanboy over like people, where
Hmm.
he's like, hey, you're he's like I'm pretending to be him.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you're that YouTuber, like I watch you on YouTube all the time, and the YouTuber's like, wait, you know me? He was like, yeah, like I've seen you all the time, like oh my
Mhm.
god, this is so cool, and like. He's like saying like I'm such a big fan of you, and the YouTuber's like, no way, I'm a big fan of you, and they're
Mhm.
just like nerding out.
I
A-
love that.
And
Like,
then
he's such a real person.
yeah, and then there was another one where this one like influencer dude, I don't know exactly what his title is, but his whole like thing is like he goes to like red carpet events and stuff, and he gets this camera and it like zooms in on somebody and it goes like super slow-mo as they make a pose. And he has like long curly hair too. And so what had happened was the actor ran into that dude and he was like, no way, you're so and so, and he was like, you know who I am? He was like, yeah, like I saw you at the thing do this and blah blah blah. He's like, I've always wanted to do this, I've always, and he's like just like straight fanboying,
Oh.
and like he does like a cool pose and he was like, I really wanted to do that pose, and he was like, I've always been he's like, and it was
Yeah.
just so, it's so sweet like just watching him like just like lose his shit, because when you see other actors and actresses, they're
Mhm.
just like, yeah, this is my life, you know.
And he's just excited to be there.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like it's so cute. It's so fucking cute.
I love that. I love him. He should be in more things.
He's gonna be in Loki.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
he's
god,
gonna be in
it's so
season 2
good.
of
I'm so
Loki.
excited.
And I had read that after Kevin Feige saw everywhere everything all at once, he personally reached out to him to be in Loki.
He was just like, "Oh my god, this is a movie," and they're just like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
a movie."
but
You know, this is a tangent. This is I know I was going to talk more about Golden Globes, but you know what I love about some Marvel actors
what's up?
is that some of them just don't know anything, and I love that. Like there was an interview between Elizabeth Olsen and I think it was one of the Kimmels. I think it was the one I like. I forget his name.
Jimmy?
Uh oh,
Jimmy Kimmel?
which is the one with the punchable face?
Jimmy Fallon?
I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, anyways, she was doing an interview and she was just like, "Yeah, I just don't know about these Marvel movies. Every time I see one, I'm worried like, oh, here's our first flop." And then everyone loves it. And I'm just like, "Oh, okay." So like I don't think Elizabeth Olsen likes these movies. Like she's discussed before in the past about how she's had to pass up more like quote creative projects because she was like subtracted into Marvel movies because they take years to film. So I was like that. There's another interview with Brie Larson where she was talking to the Miss Marvel actress, Iman, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, I was talking to Iman, and I had to be like, hey, am I an Avenger? What's going on with that?" And then they cut to Iman, who's like, as if you're on the internet space, you know, she's like an actual geek. She's just like, "Oh my god, oh my god," like she was freaking out. So I just love when these Marvel actors don't know anything.
I'm curious, would you consider the MCU Carol Danvers an Avenger?
Um, I
Mm,
would, you know, honestly, I would consider anybody who was a part of that final fight an Avenger. Like at least on
nah.
no, the thing is that if they kept on the Avengers during the 5-year break, then she would be.
But was she? But she didn't pop up to like. But she wasn't there during the snap or anything. She was like out fighting aliens. Oh, whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
That's an
I think
interesting
it's
question. Yeah, I got me thinking now. She got me thinking about the like is like who's an actual Avenger?
really honestly nobody right now. It's up in the air. We
Yeah,
don't really
I
know.
guess
Honestly,
Shang
if
Chi.
we didn't,
That's it.
yeah, yeah. But what is the lineup? I keep seeing a lineup that people talk shit about.
So it's the
It
Hulk.
but it's She-Hulk, isn't it?
No, 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 no. It's male Hulk.
Hold on, you keep talking. I'm looking up a picture.
Okay, yeah, because She Hulk is not an Avenger. She's just kind of doing her own thing. Male Bruce Banner Hulk. Shang-Chi, I guess his sidekick, I forget her name. Um uh Fucking War Machine, and that's it. They got like what, four people? Hawkeye? Clint Barton. I don't know if you would consider
Uh,
what's her face an Avenger.
what was it? I forget. It was floating on Twitter, but it was basically like I can't find it, but it was like Doctor Strange, Carol Danvers, Shang Chi,
I would
Ant
hardly
Man.
even consider Doctor Strange an Avenger at that, you know?
Honestly, he's really not. He just kind
Yeah.
of he's just kind of there. He'll show up every once in a while. That's my issue with the MCU. It's so disconnected. I could go into a whole rant about the MCU, but it's just so disconnected. I'm just like none of these people are friends.
Yeah, I was talking about this with one of my
Some of them
buddies.
are, but not really.
I kind of think I think the MCU is kind of peak, you know?
I would say it's fallen off slightly.
Yeah, like I'm excited for Secret Wars. Cuz I want to see like Miles be brought in like everybody else. I want to see my boy Doctor Doom. I want to see him just go and fuck shit up. Like that's the only reason why I'm really excited for the Fantastic Four movie is for Doctor
Mhm.
Doom. Um but yeah, like I think it's just kind of weak. Like, you have like your C-listers now, like Miss Marvel, you have Moon Knight, you got some like kind of niche characters, but I as much as I love my boy Daredevil, I don't think he's gonna
Mhm.
save the MCU, you know?
You know who I'm very excited for?
What?
Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, I liked him a lot as
uh,
as the one who
uh,
remains, I think, and Loki. I thought he was
yeah.
really good in that. I've been kind of staying away. I haven't seen the second trailer for Ant-Man
Mhm.
and the Wasp, but I saw Modoc, and let me tell you, Modoc looks fucking dumb.
Let me tell you right now. Modoc's. I say this as someone who's read comics with Modoc. I know of Modoc. Modoc's a fucking dumbass character. There is no way
That's
you can ever. There's no way you could ever adapt Modoc. So
that's
if
what
he
I
looks
was
stupid, then they're doing
saying.
it right.
No, but still, no, 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 no. Okay, here. I was talking to my girlfriend about this.
Okay.
There's certain characters you just can't. There's certain things you just can't bring into live action. Like no matter how hard you try. Modoc's one of those guys. I just think he looks inherently dumb. And I saw a picture compare Modoc side by side to George Lopez and Spy Kids, and I was like, oh my
Exactly.
god, no! But that looks for the tone you're
Mhm.
trying to receive and all that. It just doesn't fit. It just like it looks so dumb, especially right now in this current state of Marvel. I think they need to really be bringing their A game.
Mhm. So he's a dumbass character. He's just comic book nonsense. You kind of have to if you're gonna do the character, which I wouldn't, but if you're gonna do the character, you have to accept that they're gonna be fucking stupid. So you have to get an accept. But I just loved all the memes when Jonathan Majors did a men's health issue where he just showed off how ripped he was,
Uh huh.
and everyone was making memes like, "Oh, Ant Man's gonna die. He's gonna beat him to death," and that was just so funny to me. Do you think Paul Rudd's gonna die? Do you think Ant Man's gonna die in this movie?
If Ant Man dies, then like I say this unironically, I don't think there's much hope left with the MCU. You know,
Why? Why do you say
because
that?
they're just killing off yet another legacy character.
Is he? I was about to say is he, but this is the third movie, so I guess he is.
Yeah, like Doctor Strange, I feel like
Mhm.
you could do some good with him. So, like I enjoyed Multiverse of Madness, but I don't think it was like
You know
the
what the thing is? It's not like the best thing, but it's very enjoyable. I
hmm
feel.
and I feel like too. I have this thought that like after watching not Ragnarok, Love and Thunder,
Ugh.
um, I liked it. I thought it was good.
I'm glad you liked it.
I think they're gonna try to do like Thor the as like the old man of the group, kind of like the best way I can explain it to you is he's gonna be like Jotaro and JoJo. He's just the all wise, all knowing kind of guy. He comes in, fix
Mhm.
things, and leave. That's what I think they're gonna do with him in the future.
Oh my god, all his friends are dead.
What, his friends?
Yeah, like everybody he knows and loves is pretty much dead.
Yeah, that's true.
That's so sad. Oh my god. I hope one day they actually deal with that instead of just saying, "Oh, he worked out and he's fine." He's sad, but he's fine.
He worked through his depression, man. That's what you do when you're down
That's
in the gutters. You
lame.
go to the gym, and then everything just sorts itself out.
That's not like how you deal with actual depression. But that's not that's a
You you
conversation outside of the
you know
scope of
what?
this
You
podcast.
know what? I will say this. Okay, this is a
Like
com.
working out is good, but it's not
This
like
is a
the end all.
common thing. It's been proven to help people, and it helped myself when I was in a state of depression.
Yeah,
You go
I'm
to the
not
gym and
against
work
it,
out, and
but
it
it's not
clears your
the end
mind.
all. It's a good thing to help work through it, but it's not the end all.
Listen, as someone who's dating a psychology major, I know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Oh my god. Well, someone whose friend's girlfriend, who's also my friend, is a psychology major, I know what I'm talking
All right. Okay. So what else are we gonna talk about now?
about. Oh my gosh. Well, I need to talk about since you're just letting me take all the conversations, I love it. Uh
The Flash.
yes, the Flash, baby. Uh it's the most, some would call it the most mediocre. I'd call it yes, and that's why it's good. Uh The Flash is having its final season. It's insane that this has gone on for so long. Let me tell you, the CW Arrowverse, we call it the Arrowverse because it started out with the show Arrow with Stephen Amell back in 2012. And then in 2014, there was The Flash. 2015, Supergirl. Then there was Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman, Superman Lois Lane, Constantine. And it's just such a huge universe that there are times where it's just obscenely and horribly mismanaged. And there are other times where I would argue it's some of the best comic book media we've ever had, but it's not consistent, but I love it. And it's finally ending. They're having their final season. They're having their final season. I know you're laughing because you don't care for it, but they're having their final season. And I'm just really excited to not only see what they have to present, but for it to finally be over, because I feel like they've been running their spurs. They've run out of B-list characters. These are all B-list characters. We're talking about C-list in Marvel. They've run out of B-list characters. Because I saw a really fun thing on Twitter where people were like, somebody was like, "Oh, which Trinity is better, the Snyderverse trilogy or the Arrowverse trilogy?" And everyone in the comment, pretty much everyone except for like one or two people, were like, "Arrowverse, no doubt, because it's Green Arrow, it's the Flash, it's Supergirl, which is like their B-list Trinity, because that's all they can work with." And they're like, they hang out, they're actual friends, they've gone through dramas, like they're such a good trio.
That's not
And I'm
even
just
a
excited.
fair like 1-to-1 either. You know.
Yeah, it's not. It's really isn't, because honestly, the DC Trinity, they're not even a Trinity. They fought together like
Once.
once, and then in the Snyder cut, they fought adjacent to each other.
They were all in the same vicinity. That's
Yeah,
it.
they're in the same room, but it's just not like Bruce and Diana have a flirty friendship thing. Superman doesn't know. I don't think he's ever talked to her. Like he has not talked to her once. And Bruce tried to. He has not. And Bruce tried to kill him, and he's just like, "Oh well, you bought my mom's house, so I guess we're fine now." And he's just like, "Yeah, you did choke me out, so I guess we're cool." So I don't know, but yeah, it's crazy seeing something for its best and its worst finally come to an end, and it's definitely an era. I don't know if it's a good era, but the thing is that I can enjoy things that are bad, so I'm just like, oh, it's
Yeah,
over.
and
Sad for
I
me.
also heard that the
Mhm.
Arrow is coming back. He's gonna
Yeah,
reprise his role.
that's a weird thing. I'm not gonna say spoilers here because who the fuck gives a care? Um, During their like discount bargain bin Crisis on Infinite Earths, uh, they Green Arrow died and he became the Spectre, which is like this reality patrolman. Like it's this complicated cosmic character in DC, and it ended with him as the Spectre, and then he died. So and then it was alluded that he died as the Spectre saving the universe from the Anti Monitor, but we don't really know what happened to him. There's a suggestion he went to heaven or something. I don't know. We don't know. He went to afterlife. So the fact that he's back here in his Green Arrow suit is odd. We don't know. Maybe it's a flashback. Maybe honestly, comic books do time traveling all the time. Maybe the Flash was just like, oh, I miss Ollie. I'm gonna run back a couple years, pick him up, and then come back. So who knows, honestly? But it's interesting to see it finally be over.
Stargirl still going on? That one show you really like?
Uh, I do love Stargirl. I would say if anyone liked the JSA and Black Adam, and you were just like, why was this movie just about them, and why are they kind of dumb? Go to watch Stargirl because it's just more of them, but like they're competent. Like, they're not idiots.
Is Stargirl still? Did it get canned or is it
No,
still going?
it unfortunately got canned
Ah,
because
okay.
it was technically a part of the Arrowverse universe, so they're kind of ending all of them.
Damn. So they just said, all right, we're just fucking nuking it. Like everything's gone.
Yeah, pretty much. Apparently there were leaked photos of this is the weird fucking crossover. Get ready for this. A possible crossover between
Riverdale.
Stargirl, Titans, and Doom Patrol,
I think
which is just
I heard something
I mean,
about that.
there's been like leaked photos of them hanging out together in like studio rooms. So we don't know if there's gonna be some weird crossover, which is odd because first of all, Doom Patrol is a weird ass show. If you like weird comic book shows, watch it because it's so
Yeah,
fucking weird.
I watched like the first
Mhm,
season, and I really like how much they lean into it. Like
mhm.
unapologetically comic booky.
Yeah, yeah. They give no fucks. They're not like, oh, we're wearing leather. How come I have to wear this? They're more like, oh my god, okay, I have to stop these butt monsters from chewing on people's brains. Like that's Doom Patrol.
Yeah, it's dumb fun. It's a lot of dumb fun.
Mm. And then you hit that with Titans, which is like
We're too
too dark.
serious.
They're too serious, honestly. They're too fucking serious. I say this as someone who watches Titans and appreciates
Like
the
you and like
good.
five other people that watch that show, man.
That's not true. I feel like because they've released numbers before, Titans does really well. The thing is that I think it does really well with non-comic book people.
Hmm.
So it does really well with like more general audiences. It's the comic book people that are just like, what the fuck is this? Because it does well. They've gotten there. They're on their like fourth season. Like HBO, they're gonna cut you if you don't make any money.
That is very true.
And then Stargirl, which is like a very positive, hopeful, a little cheesy, but it's a very positive, hopeful show. So seeing those three cross over possibly is just so weird.
You know what though? Maybe that's what like the show kind of needs is one final like hoorah. You know, just
Yeah,
just
this
like
is. Mhm,
just like fuck it. We're gonna have all sorts of crazy in this.
mhm. But I would say if you've never seen any Arrowverse show, they're all on Netflix. Why not? like you're not gonna hurt
I
you. Some
hear
seasons.
that like
Mhm.
the first like 3 seasons of the Arrow is actually pretty good, and
Uh,
the
mhm.
first like 2 seasons of the Flash is good.
I would say that's definitely a thing with all these shows is that they're not consistent. A lot of them have different showrunners, and it's not always consistent. I would definitely say, usually for a lot of these shows, the first couple seasons and the last couple seasons are pretty good. There's
Mhm.
always a lull in the middle for most of them.
Whatever happened to a Supergirl show? Like, wasn't that a whole
The
thing?
super the super show went on for six seasons.
Okay, and it's done.
Yeah, it's over.
And they never gave Batgirl like a proper ending, huh? They just canceled it.
No, Batwoman had an ending somewhat. That Batwoman had 3 seasons. Just so I could do a whole episode on Batwoman and the whole production team. But they did 3 seasons. Everyone kind of ended their story. Of course, they do like cliffhangers in case come back, but pretty much everyone's ended their story. So it's really just the Flash that needs to like round up whatever Arrow characters are left and be like, this is our grand finale of C-lister, D-lister, B-listers. So
I've seen some of the CGI too in the Flash, and I'm like, damn, that
it's
is.
TV. It's TV. What do you expect?
I don't know, man. I've seen better CG in Agents of
The thing
Shield.
is, the thing is, it's not even like streaming TV.
That's why in
It,
Agents of Shield it was so much better. What's their excuse, Noah? Come on,
I don't.
Noah, tell
I
me.
have no excuse. I have no excuse for them. I'm not gonna
Defend
defend
them.
them.
Yes,
I'm not.
you're
It's
the
bad.
champion.
Yeah, but I like that it's bad. I'm into it. I'm like, all right, yeah.
Well,
And
any.
some of the
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, anything else you'd like to touch on?
No, is there anything else you'd like to touch on?
Yeah. Before we kind of like end the podcast, my girlfriend and I managed to reserve reservations to go to Super Mario Land at Universal a little bit early.
Oh my gosh, that's so
I'm really
exciting.
excited about that. Yeah.
When do you go?
It's like early February. Going early February.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Ooh, it looks so cool. And I've been staying away from like I know like the LA Times did like a preview, and I've seen like TikToks and stuff too, but I've been staying away from all of that. I'm like, I want to go in as fresh as I can.
I respect that. Honestly, it's I love going in blind. I have a question. Does does your lovely girlfriend Elizabeth, does she often look up things because she wants to know how they end?
Yeah, it's a problem.
Oh, my sister does that and I hate it.
Yes, I fucking
I
hate
hate
it.
it so much. I'm just like, have some patience and experience it. Why are you ruining it for yourself?
I hate
And
that.
my sister's like, I just have to know. I gotta know what
Yeah,
happens. I'm just like, no, just live it.
I hate that just as much as I hate women. Just
Oh,
kidding.
okay. Well,
Just
that's
kidding.
the end of this podcast. Thank you guys so much for
Really
listening.
quick, Noah, what's the homework? What's the homework for the week?
Today's homework is to watch one of the Arrowverse's
Oh
seasons.
no, that's too, no.
Okay, yes, no, yeah, that's the homework. That's
That's
the
the
homework.
homework. All right.
You have to watch Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman, or Constantine.
You know what? Here, I got you guys. Okay,
Oh my god.
go watch the premiere of HBO's The Last of Us. Okay,
Oh yeah, that's good.
if you don't have the money to afford it, I am not suggesting that you look for an alternative way to.
We would never.
I'd never say that, but
Yeah.
just find a way to watch it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's your homework. Go watch a season of the Arrowverse, and then you have to jump into like season 3 of like Black Lightning.
No context whatsoever. Just watch Black Lightning season 3. In fact, I'm gonna give you a specific episode to watch. Let me look it up real quick.
I didn't even know there was a season 3. I just said a random.
There are 4 seasons.
So right into the thick of the show.
Okay, I want you to watch season 3, episode 8. The book of the episode name is Book of Resistance, chapter 3, The Battle of Franklin Terrace.
God, that just sounds bad.
You haven't watched it. How would you know?
Oh, that was just a mouthful right there. Okay. Noah, if people want to find you, where do you live?
Oh my gosh. Well, you can find me at Noah is Garcia on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to see my photography works that I'll eventually post things on, you can go to Noah Garcia _photography. Nice. And that's kind of it for now. What about you? Where can people find you, Luis?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Luis Gutierrez. And you can find me on TikTok at Joshua Joestar. And you can find my work at IGN.com on the wiki section. At the moment, I am unemployed with them, but that's soon gonna change because I'm gonna be working on something. I don't know what yet. And you can read my coverage of news stories at GameSpot.com, where I do video game guides and news stories. But yeah, thank you all for listening and watching. I hope you guys are having a good year, and I hope everything's treating you well. And we love you, Kevin.
We love you, Kevin. We love you, Rudy.
I don't like you, Rudy. But all right, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great night. Have a great day, and we will see you next Monday. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.